What's going on, folks? It's your boy Manpreet here to drop an early breakdown for UFC Vegas 50, headlined by Magomed Ankalaev and Thiago Santos. Make sure you guys check out the Patreon, where I already have a plethora of breakdowns nice and early for that card posted for you guys, as well as a best bets and props article, as well as a great Discord community, as well as prize picks tips, a ton just for $5 a month. Link is in the description below. I'm not going to toot my horn any further. Let's get into the breakdown. Let's go. Magomed Ankalaev against Thiago Santos. We got minus 490 on King Magomed Ankalaev and plus 360 the return on Thiago Maheta Santos. Now, I know King is not the nickname for Magomed Ankalaev, but that is what I think of this guy. I think he is probably the best light heavyweight on planet Earth right now, and I think it's just a matter of time before he captures that gold. Putting my bias aside to Magomed Ankalaev, I still think he goes out there and smokes this version of Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos has just really not looked much like himself, at least what we've kind of come to know of him from earlier in his career, right? The guy used to be a berserker, throw big shots out there, really try to put the hurting on his opponents and try to get them out of there. Big leg kicks as well. But he's really started to fade away from that, right? We saw him very tentative in the Alexander Rakic fight. We saw him land some good shots against Glover Teixeira, but just really not have enough of the grappling defense there to hold up against Glover. And he batted a pretty solid game against Johnny Walker in his last fight. That was a solid performance. I'll give him that. But I think that we were really seeing a muzzled version of Johnny Walker that night. So I'm not sure how much we can actually take away from that. But just turned 38, I believe, a couple months. Yeah, 38, 2 months ago. We're on the flip side with Ankalaev. You got him around 29 years old, just entering his prime. Thiago Santos, gotta believe the wear and tear is very much catching up to him. If you guys remember, he had that ACL surgery or double ACL surgery before the Glover Teixeira fight. And I think that's going to impact him a lot moving forward as well, especially against a highly rated fighter like Magomed Ankalaev. Thiago Santos, he can't just accept the fighter or his opponent setting the pace and setting the pressure like Alexander Rakic did. But I think that Magomed Ankalaev is going to force him to accept that, right? The Volkan Oezdemir fight, Volkan thought he could set the pace by just being the heavier striker and really putting it on Magomed. But Magomed had different plans. He landed a beautiful counter on him, eventually thwarting that forward pressure from Volkan Oezdemir, and he was able to take over the rest of the fight after he dropped him in that first round. Very good audibles and changes from Magomed whenever he requires it, right? The only real, outside of the Paul Craig fight, the only real blemish that we've really seen from him during the 7-fight winning streak is that fight against Nikita Krylov, where he drops that first round with relative inactivity. But after that, it puts it together with takedowns and cage control and really just putting the hurting on Nikita Krylov from pretty much every single position. The guy's a technical striker. Again, he may be low output at times, but that's why he has a high striking defense rate. And the fact that he's able to go out there and land beautiful counters and kind of set the pace with his own striking style. He's very clean. I know he got hit a couple of times by Volkan Oezdemir pretty clean early in that round when Volkan was trying to set that pace early in that first round, I should say. But it was just a matter of time before Magomed got his senses about him, got the range down, got the feel down, got the patterns of Volkan Oezdemir down, and that's where he was able to start to take over, ultimately dropping him in that first round and then taking over after that. I think the same thing's going to happen here against Thiago Santos. It might be a feeling out process early here, but I'd be surprised if Thiago Santos lands anything to the extent of knocking out Magomed Ankalaev. That guy has a chin of absolute granite. Seeing Volkan Oezdemir land the shots that he did on him, and Volkan's deaded a lot of guys in the past with just one shot. Seeing Ankalaev take those shots and still chug forward and still have as much success as he did in that fight gives me uber confidence that he should go out there and just mop the floor with Thiago Santos. So the big question is, okay, he's obviously minus 490, right? I'm okay with people parlaying him at that spot because I think he's that much of a lock to win this fight. Honestly, I really think he's a solid fighter. He is the uncrowned champ at this point in time. Again, I'm trying to keep my bias away from this, but I really think he's one of the best guys in the division, if not the best. Does he win this fight by decision? Does he take a disciplined approach, which I think he should, right? Like, why does he need to go balls to the wall and try to get Thiago Santos out of there? This guy is trying to continue his winning streak, and he's trying to secure that title shot. So I think the best way to play it, if you guys have access to some of those odds where you can pick round 4, round 5 decision, that might be the best way to play this, right? Because I might be sprinkling the round 4, I might be sprinkling the round 5, but I ultimately think he gets his hand raised via decision, just fighting a clean fight. Thiago Santos has had cardio issues in the past, but it seems like it's something that he's very much shored up. And given how Ankalaev fights so disciplined, doesn't fight a high volume fight, I'm expecting this to kind of be a methodical chess match over 25 minutes, but more so a one-sided chess match where Thiago Santos has all pawns and one king, and Ankalaev has all queens, where he's just going to wipe the board and then eventually get to that king, but it might be at after a 25-minute period. So I love Ankalaev in this spot. Obviously, minus 490. I'm not any genius or sharp here by saying he's the bet in this fight. But in terms of a prop, round 4 or 5 decision, if you have access to those props, I think that's a great one. But specifically the decision, I think that's how he ends up getting it done here. I'm hoping KO so that he can open up some eyes and really demand a title shot after that. But how can you dismiss this guy after the run that he's been on right now, knocking out some of the guys that he's knocked out, and now obviously dethroning a guy like Santos, who's so high up there in the rankings? So I like Magomed Ankalaev here. In terms of an official prediction, I'll go via decision.